on track. You're catching the racing action here. Heat 2 Junior VLR. Heat 2 Junior VLR. From here on out, we will be live streaming all the classes. But this is heat number 2 for Junior VLR. The drivers have 4 laps to go. Actually, it's going to be 3. 3 laps to go. As your race leader, Max Altman has a comfortable lead over second place, Alex Rentala, and third place, Eric Doan. So if you're just joining us on the stream, we have the chat bar open. So once again, back on track. This is heat number 2 here at ROK Sonoma, race weekend number 6. And our Junior VLR class is on track, brought to you by Offset. Next up, we will have our Senior VLR class. Senior VLR brought to you by OPI Builders. Senior VLR, you should be on the grid. Senior VLR, you should be on the grid. For those of you that missed the announcement earlier, the main events are going to be shortened to 15 laps. The main events will be shortened to 15 laps to catch up on the schedule. We do appreciate your cooperation. So once again, back on track, your race leader, Max Altman. He has 1 lap to go for Heat 2 racing action here at ROK Sonoma. There's a checkered flag for Max Altman. Alex Rentala, Yana Kapoor, Zoquan Holbrook, and Eric Doan round out your top 5 again. That was Junior VLR, heat number 2. Next up, Senior VLR. They will wrap up our heat race action. Next up is going to be Senior VLR, brought to you by OPI.
Oh, right here. Okay.
So
I'll do my best. Alrighty, and we are back. Looks like Senior's about to go out on grid here in a few minutes. Should be a very interesting heat race. Had the front pack really battling a lot in the previous heat race, so it should be interesting to watch. All right, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of people wanting to go back and forth for this last point option that they can get. Make sure they get a great start going into the main event. Right now, we're just waiting for everybody to get ready and for the grid master to let everybody go. We've got a cart going off over here to get picked up. Thank you. So after we get the cart off the track, and it looks like they're getting released now to go on to track for their outlap. Man, if there is one heat to watch today, it's got to be the KA100 Senior. This class has a lot of heavy hitters going into it, like Dustin Salaveria, Val Garbarino, Chase Hand, Ryan Percy, Steven Eisert, just to name a few. Dustin Salaveria dominated the last heat, showing really good speed and was able to hold everybody off ever since the start. No one really got close enough to challenge him, but Ryan Percy had great pace, but got a little unlucky with the racing. So once they line up, I'll get the starting positions going. And we have John Madrigal starting in 10th place from qualifying. So the way it works here at ROK Sonoma is that where you qualify is where you will start for both of your heats. So even if you go dead last, get in a crash, you're going to start right where you did for qualifying. So it makes a really interesting racing, and you might end up by someone that rubbed the wrong shoulder. So this should be a pretty good race to watch here. All right, drivers slowing down, getting ready. The last little scrubs going in on this back straight. All the drivers are starting to line up now. When Dustin starts on the inside, he's always a tricky guy to start around. Just from experience of dealing with this guy, he's got a lot of experience leading races over here, and he knows how to start a race pretty good. But so does Val and Chase and Ryan. All of them have pretty good starts over here. Dustin taking him super slow. Val getting pushed ahead. Let's see if the flagman. And it's not good. They're going to go around one more time. Flagman did not like that start. Val Garbarino was getting the bumper from the whole outside row, pushing him right past Dustin. We'll see who remembers the scrub when they take this. Oh, wait. No, that's the actual layout. But usually when you run this track or any track, you don't scrub after you go over the alternative layout for the cutoff. You're going to be having a bad time on that start. All right, they're coming around. Pace looks good this time. Dustin going with a slow approach again to this start. Dustin with a little bit ahead of him. We're going to see if the flagman likes this start. Sounds like he's getting on the throttle. They're almost to the box. And they're going around again. This has been a first for today. People are really eager this race, and it's really shown with how many times they're going to have to go around. I can already sense there's going to be a lot of drama in this race because it's really going to determine where you're going to start for the main event. And with a lot of people close in points from what I was looking at, it's going to be a lot of battling up here at the front. All right, let's see if they can do it this time. Dustin goes again with the slow approach. This time they're parallel. They're right alongside. Outside road jumping it just a little bit. Does the flagman like it? And the flag is dropped. We're off way. Let's see what happens going into turn one. Oh, they're 3 wide. Does anybody get collected on the start? They all make it through. Ryan Percy looking to the inside. Anthony defending, shoving him down a little bit. Dustin Salaveria getting a little bit of a drive, but Val Garbarino is coming with him. They're breaking away. Anthony Might made his way up to third. Dustin goes defensive. Let's see if Val can get the run out the outside. Dustin holds the inside again. He checks down. Val's not going to fight it. Anthony White hanging in there. got in front of Ryan Person. It was a great move on the start. And it looks like it's a repeat of last time. Oh, Anthony looks for the pass, and he's on a roll this time. This is a complete change from last time. Anthony runs Val wide, makes him go back. Gave him the suggestion, though, so it was very fair. But Val's going to look back. He wants that position back. And it looks like Ryan's going to follow him through, and it looks like he had enough pace to get around. Everybody's squirming. Chase Hand looking to find some opportunity here, but Steven Iser giving him a hard time. Steven Iser looks like he's going to hold the pass. He runs Chase wide. Chase is forced to slot back in, and I don't think the fighting's over yet. Chase was even looking to the inside, going into the tic-tac, and we saw him pass a lot in the 206. And it's happening again. Dustin Salaveria breaking away because the group just does not agree with the person in front of him. So it's looking like a lot of battling is going to take place here if they can't calm down. And I think that's Flavio Keeney looking to the inside of Valen, but Valen holds the inside, runs him out, and we have Austin Elliott currently sitting off of the visible board. But Dustin Salaveria just going for a Sunday cruise again. Ryan looks over the shoulder, but there's nobody there. They got to keep pushing if they want to contend that first place spot. And it looks like Steven and Chase just can't get along in this first part of this fight. Dustin just pulling away. At this point, you just gotta like kind of just group up with the person in front of you, take the loss, wait for the pass later, see who's got the better. I mean, in this type of situation, you got to figure out who's the faster one, who's going to give you the best toe. And if you're deciding that for way too long, you're going to be left out to dry, and P1's just going to walk away. Steven goes defensive. Ryan and Val keeping pretty steady. The gap to Dustin, about 1.1 seconds. But it's all single file from here as Dustin runs away. And Chase goes to the inside. And Steven gets the bad hand here. That allows 3 people to go right by Steven. Akini's looking to the inside, but Steven's going to get the inside going into Kramer. But now it looks like Ryan and Val are splitting up. But it looks like Ryan's gaining some ground back on Dustin, so that's something to look out for later. But right now, a lot of the action's looking through 4th to like 11th right now. It's a pretty close field in the middle of the pack. That was really unlucky for Steven getting railroaded in the second part of the switchback. Can't see who that is off screen, but I think that's Austin Elliott looking to the inside. He's going to climb up there. John Madrigal in 11th place. Anthony White moving down to 6th, losing 3 spots. But it looks like the racing settled down for this middle group. What I think is on the mind of a lot of drivers right now is if they're going to have the time to catch back up to Dustin and take away those first place points. The gap closed by a 10th, but is it going to be enough with 7 to go to close that gap with only dropping to 10th every lap? It would have to take a mistake from Dustin to bring the group back together. But it looks like Steven's just salvaging what he can right now, trying to draft back up to Chase and probably work with Anthony for the time being, knowing it'll slow him down. And I'm completely wrong. He goes for the inside pass. It looks like Steven's back on the move. If I had to take a guess, it looks like they went pretty low on pressures this time, and the cart's just taking a while to get back into the groove of it. But Dustin just driving a solid race, just minding his own business. The only person right now to put up a fight that's closest enough to him is going to be Ryan Persing in the P2. Val Garbarino in the P3, but out of that net gain, Ryan has 1 spot gain, so that's going to help him going into the main event. Austin Elliott up to 9th place, a 4-spot gain for him. This is all just off camera, but I'm just making sure we cover everybody having a good performance this heat. But is that Colby Romero in front of Chase Hand? He's holding good pace this race. Earlier on, he was struggling a little bit with the pace, but now it seems like he's got it figured out. Steven Iser getting past Anthony White. Looks like he's going to hunt down Chase Hand now. See how high he can get and get the most points possible with that unfortunate railroading coming out of the hairpin. With a 3/10 gap, it looks like it's very possible to catch back up to Chase and make something happen. And Chase goes around Colby Romero. Right now, the closest battle is going to be between Ayrton Tyler and Austin Elliott, or it's going to be between Chase Hand and Colby Romero. He's right on the bumper. I'm not sure if he wants to pass here. I think Colby's trying to work with Chase and get some more spots before battling and losing more. This is the highest place Colby's been all day in position. It looked like the kart just wasn't right for him earlier on in the day, but now it looks like it's coming all together under this grip. But Steven Eisert sneaking his way back into the groove. Let's see if he can start getting in the area where he's going to benefit from the draft that Colby and Chase are giving him. But Anthony's still in the hunt for Steven. Ryan Persson going purple this time. Could be possible that he's going to make up some major ground on Dustin Salaveria closer to the end of the race. The gap is down 0.3 from where it was a couple of laps ago. We got 4 to go. But overall, Dustin's just dominated all day. Going into qualifying, he pulled out the fastest lap on the last lap. Really surprised everybody with that one. When I was looking at the results, I thought he was pretty stagnant there in 3rd place, but he pulled something on the last lap. We got a driver off coming up the hill, and it looks like it's Steven Gaudreau. But Steven Eisert getting past Colby Romero. So that is going to put Steven Eisert up into the 5th position, I believe, with Colby Romero behind him. But with a 5th place finish and a 3rd place qualifying and other results in the first heat, he's going to be definitely in the top 5, but he would be lucky if he would get the inside line for this main event. Starting on the outside on this configuration is such a pain, because the grip is just so down into the corner that if you're just a little wide, you're killing your run down into tic-tac-toe. So it wouldn't surprise me if some drivers aren't going to fight the passes for those odd number placements, so that way they get the better run on the main event. But Ryan Persson is closing this gap, probably about 0.6 now, down from the 0.8, with 2 laps to go. It's close, but I don't think it's enough to contend with Dustin for that P1 finish. We're coming up on the last lap now. And it looks like Dustin's got this one sealed away. He's going to be starting P1 today for the main event, probably. With the P1 qualifying, P1 in the last heat and P1 here, it's undisputed. The people to watch to see where they start for the main event is going to definitely be Ryan Persson, Val Garbarino, Chase Hand, and Steven Eisert. A lot of them were mixed around through the different races in the qualifying today, so it's going to be a toss-up where they all end up. But Ryan and Dustin have their position sealed away for this race. There's not going to be any contention going around to the last section of the track. But it looks like overall, everybody's filed into their spots and let it be. Doesn't look like anybody was fighting too hard at the end there. They're just kind of content with where they were. Smart to save the tires and just keep the position you're at and not take any risk going into the main and have a drop maybe. Getting a little too aggressive on a pass. That will really screw you up going into the main event. But Ryan did close the gap a lot on those last few laps. He was really picking up speed, so I'm almost wondering what were the pressures like, because it was coming in so late in the session that it'd be hard for him to get any ground made up in the early laps with the pressures that were just off, more set for the late run. If the start would have been a little cleaner and everybody would have been a little bit more organized, then I think that Ryan definitely had a fight for him, but having to battle off Val Garbarino, Chase Hand, Steven Eisert, Colby Romero definitely put him in a bad position. All right, so that is the end of Heat 2 for Senior ROK, or senior VLR? All right. So national anthem first?
National anthem and then our main event. Just give everyone a rundown of the order.
All right. So after we close up this heat, we're going to go ahead and do our national anthem. Okay. Gotcha. All right, so for the first main event, we're going to have Mini and Micro, followed by Master VLR, followed by 206, then 125 Shifter Limited. Then we're going to go to the Pro/Master Shifter, Junior VLR, and to round off the main events, we're going to have Senior VLR at the end of the day. And now we go to the national anthem. All right, cool. Right up.
Anybody hear me? Who's live?
So if you're joining us on YouTube, we are wrapping up Heat 2 racing action right now. Announcing the senior VLR class. That was Roman Madrigal, one of our fellow racers here at ROK Sonoma. You can also find him on Instagram under just Roman Around. He was doing some content for NorCal Carters yesterday in the pits here at ROK Sonoma. So again, we're going to pause between the heat races and the main event. As soon as we clear the scales, we will play the national anthem, and then we will roll right into our main events with our first class being the Mini and Micro Rock class, brought to you by SSI Racing. The second class up will be Master VLR, brought to you by Radical Northwest. And our third class for the main events will be Briggs 206, brought to you by Levanto Tires. We'd also like to give a shout out to our series sponsors, Titanium Sports Nutrition and Blaze one-on-one online coaching. All right, we are coming back at you right now. We have the micro and mini rock class on track, brought to you by SSI Racing. Micro and mini rock brought to you by SSI Racing.
How's my picture looking?
So our front row here in micro and mini rock. Your pole sitter, Mateo Calderon. Off pole, Matt Guidera. Row 2, Julian Sanchez and Landon Cadora Dolph. Row 3, Aiden Go and Jimmy Fogarty. Row 4, Niev Adizra and Brock Perry. Row 5, Kylie Johnson and Koa Salto. So right now, this is the formation lap. This is our first main event for race weekend number 6 here at ROK Sonoma, and the final round of our summer Triple Crown. And we do run the micro and the mini rocks combined here at ROK Sonoma. Cart number 101, that's going to be Mateo Calderon as your pole sitter. Cart number 150 is going to be Matt Guidera. And it looks like we have a green flag going. Oh, it looks like we got waved off. They were picking up speed early. Our head flagman, Phil Hand, waved it off. So we will do another partial lap. So thank you for joining us on YouTube for the live stream here at ROK Sonoma. Once again, this is the micro and mini rock class. And this is still our formation lap. They're coming down the main straight. This weekend, we are running the reverse sprint layout. So once they get the green flag, you'll notice the cones will go in place. And we will no longer utilize the long main straight. We have a green flag from Phil Hand. All of our drivers are going into turn 1. And it looks like everyone made it through fine. Now they go through the tic-tac-toe section. So your race leader is Mateo Calderon, followed by Julian Sanchez. And running in third is Matt Guidera. So once again, the micro and mini rock class here at ROK Sonoma is brought to you by SSI Racing. Team principal Jason Shad runs a team here at ROK Sonoma as well. And they use a combination of racing simulators and on-track karts to develop their drivers. Looks like we have some action there for that second spot. Julian Sanchez getting pushed up the hill by Matt Guidera. Matt Guidera goes to the inside. Looks like he's going to have that pass. Oh, Julian Sanchez counters back, does the little crossover there. Let's see, Julian gets it pushed a little bit wide. Let's see who has the inside line. So these two drivers are racing hard, but giving each other just enough room. And here comes Guidera back to the inside. Cart number 150 is Matt Guidera. Cart number 113 is Julian Sanchez. Another way of telling is that bright green lid of Julian Sanchez. And right behind these two drivers, we have Aiden Go. He's running in 4th place overall, but he's our #1 Micro Rock driver right now. So all of our classes today will be running 15 laps for the main event. So off camera, you just saw him a second ago. Right there, Mateo Calderon, but you can see that lead that Mateo Calderon currently has.
Oh no!
Oh no, looks like Giuseppe has a mechanical. He's slowing down quickly. That's cart number 150. So if you're Giuseppe, that is Matt Gadara on the live timing here on the left-hand side. So it looks like he's pulled over. So that's going to put Julian Sanchez in 2nd, Aiden Go 3rd overall, but 1st in Micro Rock. Landon Cadora Dolph is going to be 4th. And then Jimmy Fogarty will be running in 5th overall, and he's going to be running P2 in the Micro Rock class. So there's Julian Sanchez leading this pack right here. So it's Julian, Aiden Go, and Landon Cadora Dolph. So this is the Micro and Mini Rock class here at ROK Sonoma. If you enjoy the broadcast here at ROK Sonoma, take a quick moment, hit like and subscribe. We plan on live streaming the remaining of the 2023 season here at ROK Sonoma. And we want to give a quick shout out to our series sponsors, Titanium Sports Nutrition and Blaze One-on-One Online Coaching. And once again, Micro and Mini Rock is brought to you by Sonoma-based SSI Racing. So we are running a little bit behind schedule today. We're going to do our best to catch back up, but right now we are a little bit behind schedule. There's our race leader, cart number 101, Mateo Calderon. The difference between Mateo Calderon and Julian Sanchez, 3.7 seconds. So once again, on track is our Mini and Micro Rock class brought to you by SSI Racing. And Mateo Sandoval is just stepping out here in front of the rest of the field. Now he is 4.5 seconds ahead of 2nd place Julian Sanchez. So we're going to keep an eye on cart number 142. That's going to be Landon Cadora Dolph. He's 4th on track, but running 3rd in Mini Rock. So Aiden Go, he's running 3rd overall, but he's a Micro Rock. So the 2 carts that are on both sides of him, they're running in a different class, but Aiden Go is holding his own. So our drivers here, they'll run together, but they are scored separately. So we'll see if Aiden allows Landon to slot by to go try to chase down 2nd place Julian Sanchez. But in general, racers are very, very competitive. No one ever likes to get passed, even if it's not your class. Looking at our live timing on Race Hero, Mateo Calderon is purple. He's done fast lap with a 56.70. So thank you for tuning in here on ROK Sonoma's YouTube channel. These are the main events for race weekend number 6 and the Triple Crown race number 3. So the Triple Crown was our summer series where we added the Briggs 206 racers. Once again, this is our Mini and Micro Rock class. Here with the green helmet, we're following Julian Sanchez. He's being chased down by Aiden Go, who's running in Micro Rock. So that's your Micro Rock leader right there. And then Landon Cadora Dolph has that black helmet. Is Aiden going for a pass here? Let's see. Nope, he holds back. Once again, Julian Sanchez and Aiden Go are running 2 separate classes. Julian's running Mini Rock and Aiden Go is running Micro Rock. So our pit reporter, Lexi, just notified us that Matt Gadara had a carburetor issue. That's why he slowed pace a number of laps ago. So that was a shame because he was running right there in that top 3, and he was going to go battle for the lead. Meanwhile, we have the camera on 2nd place, Julian Sanchez. 3rd place overall, Aiden Go, who is our Micro Rock race leader. And 4th place, Landon Cadora Dolph. So our driver's going to have 4 laps to go. So later today, our race order currently on track is Micro and Mini Rock. Next up, Master VLR. Then we'll have the Briggs 206 racers. 125 Shifter Limited will be after that. Pro Rock Shifter. Junior VLR and Senior VLR will wrap up today's main event actions here at ROK Sonoma. And as you can tell, we are running the reverse layout. And out front, we have the cameras here on 2nd place, Julian Sanchez. 3rd place, Aiden Go. In 4th place, Landon Condora Dolph. If you're watching us on YouTube and you have a favorite driver, leave a message in the chat. So we already have one fan for Mateo Calderon. Who's your race leader? So we're going to have 2 laps to go, 2 laps to go. And Mateo Calderon just went purple again with a 56.70. His gap is 8 seconds ahead of 2nd place. 8 seconds. So we're going to have 1 lap to go. Mateo Calderon just grabbed the white flag from head flagman Phil Hand. So on camera, we have Julian Sanchez, Aiden Go, and Landon Condora Dolph. So they're not racing for points right now. Those 2 drivers are racing for ego and track position, but Julian Sanchez with the green helmet is running Mini Rock, and Aiden Go right behind him is running Micro Rock, so they will be scored separately. And here comes Mateo Calderon coming up tic-tac-toe. The final time up the hill on race weekend number 6. 1 corner left for Mateo. Oh, we have Aiden Go with the attempt coming up the hill. Aiden Go goes to the inside. So Aiden Go decided he was going to drag race Julian Sanchez up the hill. But it looked like he realized it was really not for a position. Great drive by your Micro Rock race winner, Aiden Go, hanging in there in that top 3. Here's your race winner right there, Mateo Calderon. Sorry, Mateo, you didn't make it on TV very much today because you were so far out in front. Mateo Sandoval, your race winner for Mini Rock. Aiden Go, your race winner for Micro Rock. So next up, we will have Master VLR.
Can you hear me?
Once again, if you're joining us on YouTube, thank you for tuning into the broadcast here at ROK Sonoma. If you've not done so already, take a quick moment just to hit like and subscribe. And if you're enjoying what we're doing, just hit share. Share it with one person. That way we can keep these live streams coming to you in future years. But right now on track, we have Master VLR, brought to you by Radical Northwest. And your pole sitter, Michael Ting, cart number 786. Off pole, cart number 714, Daniel Jones. Row 2, Fred Clark and Scott Permanic. Row 3, Dan Rivera. And Gorgeous George. Giorgio. I tried to do it right that first time, and it's just Gorgeous George. Sorry. Stefan Gaudreau and Kyle Armstrong are row 4. Sherry Camilla and Jeff Bullock, row 5. And Kieran James and Zach Gondoliminus round out your field. So this is our formation lap for Master VLR, brought to you by Radical Northwest. And we have a green flag going into turn 1. Michael Ting's on the inside. Looks like we have Fred Clark a little bit over the curb. Looks like all of our drivers have made it through nice and clean. So it looks like we have Gorgeous George going to the inside, coming up the hill there, going past the start-finish line. So currently we have, it looks like Dan Jones goes to the inside of Michael Ting. So exiting Kramer, Dan Jones made the pass on Michael Ting. That shuffles Mike back to second. Fred Clark still is in third. Fourth, we're going to have Dan Rivera. Once again, this is Master VLR. 100cc, 2-stroke air-cooled engines, single speed. There's your race leader, Dan Jones. So we're going to keep an eye on the lap times of Daniel Jones and Michael Ting. That last time by, Daniel Jones only had a 0.2 of a second gap, but let's see if he's able to stretch it out a little bit. So here they come out of tic-tac-toe, coming up the hill, going into our old turn 1, because they are running reverse right now. Oh, we have a driver dropping some wheels off the track. That allows Gorgeous George to drop in underneath. I believe that was Dan Rivera. So Dan Rivera is looking to get back around Gorgeous George. So we have Gorgeous George and Uncle Dan battling it out right now. And then sitting in 6th, we have Scott Permanic. Fred Clark is still sitting in that number 3 spot. Second place, Michael Ting. And your race leader, Daniel Jones. So it looks like we're going to have a challenge for third here. It looks like Gorgeous George is going to challenge for that number 3 spot with Fred Clark. There's Fred Clark right there. There goes Gorgeous George to the inside. Does Fred Clark able to come back and counter? Giorgio takes over that 3rd spot. Here comes Uncle Dan to the inside of Fred Clark. As they go through the left-handed maker. So Dan Rivera is trying to get around Fred Clark. And let's see how Scott Vermanick decides to approach this little battle here. So Gorgeous George is pulling away from that battle for fourth. So there's Fred Clark with that red and blue helmet right there, cart number 715. He's currently hanging on to that number 4 spot. So right now we're watching the battle between Fred Clark and Dan Rivera. So that last time around, Gorgeous George goes purple. He's sitting in that third spot. He just went purple with the 54.190. So let's see if Gorgeous George is going to track down second place Michael Ting. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones, his lead's increased to about a half a second. So let's see if Gorgeous George works with Michael Ting to close the gap on race leader Daniel Jones. Or is he the fastest guy on the track? He's going to get around Michael and then go after the race leader. So we'll find out here in a couple more corners. But right there we have the battle still for fourth between Fred Clark, Dan Rivera, and Scott Vermanick. And here's the battle for second between Michael Ting and Gorgeous George. Looks like Michael Ting and Gorgeous George both get through tic-tac-toe fairly well. I'm trying to look on the track to see where there might be an advantage for either of those drivers. Oh, there goes Gorgeous George to the inside. There's the advantage. Gorgeous George takes over that number 2 spot. Now he was purple on that last lap, so let's see if he has enough speed to go chase down Dan Jones. And further back, we have a pass for fourth, so it looks like Dan Rivera has gotten around Fred Clark. So here comes our race leader, Dan Jones, up the hill, followed by Gorgeous George. Running in third is Michael Ting. And then further back, we have Dan Rivera in fourth, Fred Clark in fifth. Scott Vermanick is running in sixth. So once again, this is Master VLR Racing Action brought to you by Radical Northwest. Radical Northwest is also based out of the Sonoma racetrack. These opening laps of this main event for Master VLR, there was racing action for first and second. Then it turned into second and third. And then the whole race, the battle between Dan Rivera, Fred Clark, and Scott Vermanick for fourth. But right now it looks like everyone's sitting comfortable. Not saying they're relaxed and taking it easy, but no clear fight for a position right now. Next up will be our Briggs 206. Fast Briggs 206 will be next up. So here's our race leader, Daniel Jones. Last lap, he had a 1 second lead over second place Gorgeous George. Now he has 1.8 seconds. The gap on track looks a lot different than my timing is saying now. That looks a lot closer than 1.8 seconds. I could be a little bit off though. Let's see here. There's your race leader, Daniel Jones, running aboard that CRG product. And then Gorgeous George is running in second on an OTK product. Then we have Michael Ting running in third on the GFC product. Back on track, we have Daniel Jones. And then we have Gorgeous George running in second and Michael Ting running in third. And again, this is Master VLR. All of our drivers today will run 15 laps. Our Masters have 3 laps to go. 3 laps to go here in Master VLR. Up next will be the Briggs 206 races. Okay, so the last time by, Gorgeous George is only a half a second behind Daniel Jones. To me, that makes a lot more sense. So let's see if he can make something happen here. So they're going to go through tic-tac-toe coming up the hill. Then they're going to enter reverse turn 1. Let's see, Dan Jones is now 7 tenths ahead of Gorgeous George. You know, it looks like Dan Jones is very aware of his position, and he's just moderating that gap. Because Gorgeous George is closing the gap, gets on his bumper, then Dan Jones lays a lap down and puts a cushion between the two of them again. So we're going to have 2 laps to go, 2 laps to go right now on screen. That's Fred Clark being chased down by Scott Permanic. And then there's Gorgeous George going through tic-tac-toe, trying to catch up to Dan Jones coming up the hill. Then right behind that is Michael Ting. So white flag lap for Daniel Jones, Gorgeous George, Michael Ting, Dan Rivera, Fred Clark, Scott Permanic, Sherry Camilla, Kyle Armstrong, Kieran James, and rounding out your top 10, Stefan Gaudreau. So our top 3 are pretty well spread out right now. Gorgeous George just went purple, but he's a 1.5 seconds behind race leader Daniel Jones. So Daniel Jones goes through tic-tac-toe for the last time. This race weekend, he's heading up the hill, entering into reverse turn 1. And Dan Jones is going to take the checkered flag, followed by Gorgeous George, Michael Ting, Dan Rivera, Fred Clark, Scott Fermanic. And next up, we will have our Briggs 206 racers.
What happened there? Hello. Hello.
So on track, we have our Briggs 206 class.
Yeah, but I did lose signal.
So we have our drivers going into turn 1. This Briggs 206 brought to you by Levanto Tires. Looks like there's a little bit of contact exiting turn 1, but all of our drivers kept going. And it looks like that's going to be Steven Eisert coming out in the lead. Chase Hand goes to the inside coming up the hill. So he's going to take over that 4th spot. So we have Steven Eisert, Cade Godby here, Josh Veloz, Chase Hand, Russell Scott, Jason Maples, Tony Varelis, Malik Alzik, and Casey Moyer. So it looks like Casey Moyer is now in that 9th spot. And then a little further back for 5th, we have a pass. So Russell Scott is battling it out for that 5th spot. top two drivers are ducking as they're going down to tic-tac-toe. So our drivers are coming up the hill. A lot of hand gestures going on in the track there. And Cade goes to the inside of Isert. So Cade Godby here. Oh, that looks like Josh Veloz has gone to the inside. So Josh is now running in second. Isert is in third. Hand is in fourth. Isert tries to go to the inside of Kramer on Josh Veloz. Veloz shuts the door, but that gives the momentum to Chase Hand. So Chase Hand has a run. He's in fourth spot. So this class is one of our most underpowered classes on track. So momentum is key. Looks like Isert gets a good run coming down the hill, entering tic-tac-toe. Gets around Josh. So Cade Godby here is pulling away just a little bit. Isert is back into second. But there is a great battle for second, third, and fourth right now between Isert, Veloz, and Hand. I see Veloz and I want to say Velocity. So that's why I should know his name by now. But I just want to say Velocity. It's Veloz running in third. So the drivers are going to come around, going down through tic-tac-toe. Cade has a half a second gap over Isert. So we'll keep an eye on that time differential between, Veloz looks to the inside coming up the hill. Veloz gets the pass as Isert crosses him up. Nope, that is going to be Josh's position. And I must have missed something earlier. Josh is using a lot of hand gestures. I must have missed something on the opening lap. So once again, this is our Briggs Senior. Briggs Senior brought to you by Levanto Racing Tires. Your race leader, Cade Godby here. Second place, Josh Veloz. Third, Steven Isert. Fourth, Chase Hand. Running in fifth, Jason Maples. You can see how close the racing action is. There goes Josh to the inside of Cade. So Cade takes over that number one spot. I'm sorry. Josh takes over the number one spot from Cade. Oh, and contact! We got a driver over. So the driver's up and walking. We have a driver over. That was Cade. That one's definitely going to go back to review when I get home to see what exactly happened. But it looked like Cade just threw it in there. So our driver, he looks okay, but he took a pretty nasty tumble. Our primary concern is always the safety of the drivers. Once they're okay and we realize we can keep going, then we can go back to analyzing what happened. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Josh's kart because that was a big hit. He took a big hit from Cade. So after all that shuffling around, that puts Chase Hand on the GFC product running in first. Steven Isert on the OTK product in second. Josh Veloz on the Burrell in third. Jason Maples and Russell Scott round out your top 5. Shout out to Dustin Sell Racing. We need more Roman. We do need more Roman. So, Dustin Salaveria, bring your checkbook to the tower so you can buy us more equipment, and we'll get 2 announcers in here. Bring that checkbook, Dustin Salaveria. Co-announcers would be fantastic. So earlier in the day, Roman Madrigal was doing some commentating for us for qualifying in the heat races. And he definitely has a little fan base out there. But back to the racing action. There goes Steven Eisert around Chase Hand. He's asking for a little help from Josh Veloz. There goes Chase Hand to the inside. Veloz is going to follow him through. They're going to drag race across the start-finish line. Chase is going to get the lead back. Josh is going to go into second. Let's see where Eisert ends up. He's going to end up in third. There goes Eisert back for second. This track layout, the reverse sprint, really just plays out well for crossover passes and counter attacks because you have a lot of right, left, right combinations. Again, it's one of our tighter configurations that we run here. But back to the front, we have Chase Hand as your race leader with Steven Eisert right on his rear bumper. Now there goes Eisert to the inside. They're coming up the hill. They give each other room. Does Chase Hand have enough speed to cross him over? No. Eisert goes defensive into the turn 1. So let's see if Chase can have a run going down the hill. There goes Chase. He had the run as Eisert was driving defensively. But Eisert's going to be on the inside on the next corner. Now here comes third and fourth. Jason Maples and Josh Veloz are there now. Now we have a 4-cart battle for the lead. 4-cart battle for the lead right now. Eisert is your race leader. Hand is in second. Maples is in third. Veloz is in fourth. Fastest cart on the track right now. 4th place, Josh Veloz. There goes Joey Hand was trying to make the pass going into tic-tac-toe. Let's see how this is going to hurt his momentum coming up the hill. Look at these 4 drivers just putting on a show. Now we have a 5th driver in the mix. That looks like it's going to be Russell Scott. We're going to have 5 drivers battling for the lead. I don't know who that number was, but that might have been Russell Scott or Maples dropped a wheel. But it doesn't matter. The battle for the lead right now is getting intense. Once again, this is our Briggs 206 class, brought to you by Levanto Tires. So that is 3rd place, Josh Veloz. I'm sorry, 4th place, Josh Veloz right there. So as they come up the hill, they'll cross the start-finish line, and we will reset the running order for you. Oh, Maples, Hand, Veloz. Wait a second. Yeah, Maples, Hand, Veloz, and Eisert and Scott are your top 5. So right now we have the camera on Chase Hand as he goes after race leader Jason Maples. I miscalled that a little bit earlier. Here we have Isert with Josh Veloz right behind him. Let's see if Josh Veloz gets a good run coming out of tic-tac-toe. So your current race leader is going to be Jason Maples, followed by Chase Hand, Steven Isert. We're going to have Josh Veloz in 4th and Russell Scott in 5th. So coming around, they'll have 4 laps to go. 4 laps to go for our Briggs 206 class. Fast kart on track, Josh Veloz with a 59.570. So for those that are wondering, the Briggs 206 here at Sonoma, they do run on a Levanto tire. And Levanto offers a 6-inch wide rear tire for the Briggs class. But your current race leader is Jason Maples, followed by Chase Hand, Steven Isert, Josh Veloz, and Russell Scott. So a little further back in that 5th and 6th spot between Russell Scott, Casey Moyer's moved up. He started 10th. So right now he's sitting in that 6th spot. And Casey makes a pass for 5th. But at this current moment, that's about the only action for a position on the track. Everyone else is scooting in their seat trying to catch the guy in front of them. So looking at Isert, Isert might be able to make a run for that 2nd place spot. But when they come up the hill, they're going to be 1 lap to go, 1 lap to go. All right, Isert goes to the inside of Chase Hand. Contact is made. Chase is pushed a little bit wide. That allows Josh Veloz to slot by the both of them. So Josh is now in that 3rd place spot. But Isert was definitely the quicker kart out of those 3. Let's see if he's able to get around Josh. Jason Maples is comfortable out in the lead right now. Josh is going to have his hands full. Steven Isert is running in 3rd. They're going to go through tic-tac-toe. Let's see who has the better momentum. Isert has a good run on the outside. Josh exits low. Let's see. They're going to drag race into the last corner here. Josh is on the inside. Isert's on the outside. That might be a little bit of a thank you for crashing into each other after qualifying. But that looks like it's going to be Josh Veloz is going to take that 2nd spot. Steven Isert in 3rd, Chase Hand in 4th, and Casey Moyer in 5th. So we have some heat going on right now between Isert and Veloz. And Isert's running into the back of Hand. I mean, they're doing like 4 miles an hour, but it's still exciting to watch. So 3 of these drivers are not happy with each other right now. So that was our Briggs 206 class. Unofficial results. Jason Maples was your race winner. Josh Veloz was in second. Steven Eisert in third. Chase Hand in fourth. Casey Moyer running out your top 5. So those drivers are not pleased with each other. Next up, 125 Shifter Limited, brought to you by Altwell. 125 Shifter Limited, brought to you by Altwell. And as a reminder, all classes will run 15 laps for the main event. When you're done with your race, please return your transponders. This is going to be a fun race to go back and watch later this week. Rubbing's racing unless you're the one getting rubbed.
There's penalties on that for sure, though. There's penalties on that for sure.
So it looks like the top 4 drivers are all congratulating Jason Maples. It looks like he's the only one without an enemy right now. Jason Maples, great job out there.
Give a camera a thumbs up. Give a camera a thumbs up.
Our next class is going to be 125 Shifter Limited, brought to you by Altwell. On track, we have 125 Shifter Limited, brought to you by Altwell.
Yeah, just put it anywhere near that.
So for those of you just joining us on YouTube, the red flag is for a standing start. This is to get the drivers to stop on the grid for a standing start. Your pole sitter, cart number 43, Pat Beckley. Off pole, Travis Bowles. Row 2, Stephen Pagot and Ori Della Pena. Row 3, Trevor Getter. Welcome back, Jim Kidd, Blake Cavalli, and Eric Vernon. We have a start, and rounding out is Arul Venkatesh. All of our drivers go into turn 1. So it looks like it's going to be Pat Beckley and Travis Bowles. And Stephen Pagot and Jim Kidd. That's going to be your top 4. And Trevor Getter rounding out your top 5. So again, this is 125 Shifter Limited, brought to you by Altwell. So that looks like the car that stalled on the grid may have been Arul Venkatesh. But back to the front of the field, Pat Beckley is your race leader, being chased down by Travis Bowles. So those of you online that are wondering what limited is, this is the same engine package as the ROK shifter. The only difference is it has an exhaust restrictor. It reduces the power a little bit. And most of our drivers in this class are 40 plus years old. So this has been a great class here at ROK Sonoma, as our gentlemen drivers have to go to work tomorrow. But out front we have Pat Beckley, Travis Bowles, Stephen Pagot, Jim Kidd, Trevor Getter, Blake Cavalli, and Pat Beckley. He's going purple right now. So if you're just joining us on YouTube on the live stream, this is round number 6 here at ROK Sonoma. We are running the reverse sprint layout. This is also the final round of our summer series, the Triple Crown, where our 206 racers have joined us for a 3-race mini-series. And if you missed it, those drivers just put on a great show on and off the track. But here's our leader, cart number 143, Pat Beckley. So 125 Shifter Limited and our Pro Shifter class, both of them are brought to you by Altwell, Alternative Wellness Products. Our series sponsors include Titanium Sports Nutrition, and Blaze One-on-One online coaching. Okay, here's Pat Beckley in his GFC chassis out front. Travis Bowles and Stephen Pagot running 2 and 3 on their CRG products. Correction, Stephen Pagot is on a Sodi cart. And then Jim Kidd is running on the Aluminos product. Got Nick Colivas on the chat lines. Great that you have the leaderboard on the video now. Each race we try to make an improvement. So yeah, the leaderboards are now on the live stream. We are working on more camera angles as well, so just stay tuned. When you start something from scratch, just got to make a little progress every time. But once again, 125 shifter limited. There we have Jim Kidd. Jim Kidd and Trevor Getter on screen. Out in the front, off camera, we have Pat Beckley. Set another purple lap. Once again, next up, Pro Rock Shifter. Pro Rock Shifter, please be on the grid. Cart number 43, this is Pat Beckley. You can see his lead already. So currently he has a 2.4 second gap over second place Travis Bowles. So earlier today we had a red flag incident that put us behind schedule. So all of our classes for the main events are running 15 laps today. And if we have an update on the driver at some point, I will report back to you. Meanwhile, we have Pat Beckley exiting tic-tac-toe coming up the hill. I'm kind of curious if this guy ever misses a mark. He just drives so smooth. And again, this is 125 shifter limited. Rock shifter engine packages. Spec series, spec class. This class utilizes an exhaust restrictor. Further back in the field, we have a little bit of racing action between Jim Kidd running in 4th and Trevor Getter running in 5th. Does Trevor Getter go around the inside? Trevor Getter gets around Jim Kidd going into turn 1. Let's see if Jim Kidd counters exiting tic-tac-toe. Thank you, you two, for giving us some racing action. So Trevor Getter, he's now in that 4th spot. Jim Kidd's in 5th. Everywhere else on the track, all the drivers are kind of spread out and comfortable. So we'll leave the cameras on these two for a little bit. It's good seeing Trevor Getter back on the track with these guys. These are a close-knit group. He had to miss a couple of races, but he's back here, and he's running in 4th. So we'll keep an eye on Trevor Getter. He is 2.2 seconds behind Steve Pageau on that last circuit. So 2.2. So now he's 1.9 seconds. 1.9 seconds behind Steve Pageau. So he's 0.3 quicker. Let's see if Trevor Getter can go chase down Steve Pagot. Other than that, we have Pat Beckley way out in the lead. Second place, we have Travis Bowles. Third place, we have Steve Pagot. We're going to keep an eye on Steve and on Trevor Getter. But the laps are winding down. When they come across the stripe again, they'll only have 4 laps to go. So it looks like Trevor Getter went a 1.8. Last lap was a 1.9 gap, so a tenth of a difference. He's going to have to find a little bit more pace in order to chase down Steve Pagot and have a chance to pass for that third place spot. So back to our racing action here on track. 125 shifter limited. There's your race leader, Pat Beckley. 2 laps to go for Pat Beckley. And he went purple with the 51.999. So Pat Beckley purple with the 51.999. So he's going to come up the hill. There's going to be 1 lap to go when he crosses the start-finish line. 1 lap to go for Pat Beckley. All right, let's see if Trevor Getter ramps up the pressure now that he knows his white flag lap. So Trevor Getter's only 0.7 of a second off the bumper of Steve Pagot. Steve Pagot drops a wheel going into Kramer. That's not going to help him. So Steve Pagot made a little bit of a mistake there. Trevor Getter has about 3 more corners to go to see if he can capitalize on that. Let's see who gets a better run coming out of tic-tac-toe. So Pat Beckley gets the checkered flag. We're going to try to pick up the 3rd place guys here. Not enough time for Trevor Getter, but still a great run. Pat Beckley with another dominating performance here in 125 shifter ROK limited. 2nd place, Travis Bowles. 3rd, Stephen Pagot. 4th, Trevor Getter. And 5th, Jim Kidd. Next up, we will have our Pro and Master ROK shifter presented by Altwell, Alternative Wellness Products. Pro Rock Shifter's on the grid. We have a green flag for Pro Rock Shifter. So it looks like Brian Keck is going to get the whole shot going into turn 1, followed by Tazio Otis. And Avancino, he was back he ended up going to the back. So now he's in that 4th place spot. And then cart number 494, that's going to be Kevin Woods. He must have got a new helmet. So we have Keck, Otis, Woods, Avancino, and McGrath. This is your Pro Rock Shifter class brought to you by Altwell. These drivers will compete for 15 laps here at ROK Sonoma. And we are running the reverse sprint layout. So we'll keep an eye on Michael Avancino. He went purple that last lap. Avancino's had a really good rookie year in the shifter class. He's not a karting rookie by any means. He's had a lot of experience in Rotax, X30, pretty much all the single speed classes. But this year he jumped up to the shifter. Earlier in the season he had a couple of mechanicals, a couple of driving errors that kept him off the podium or off that top spot. But he's been fast every single race. So he's going to have his hands full of Kevin Woods because Kevin's just not going to point him by. And it should be mentioned, Kevin Woods, the oldest driver in the field right now. He normally runs Master Rock Shifter, but due to the class size and a lot of drivers going to the limited Rock Shifter, Kevin jumped up and started running with the pros. So here he is in 3rd, holding off Avancino. Up, here comes Avancino to the inside, coming up the hill. So he's going to make the pass going into reverse turn 1. So Avancino's next target is going to be Tazio Otis, who's currently running in 2nd. First place, Brian Keck, GFC, Tazio Otis, Sodi, Avancino, Madcrock, Kevin Woods, CRG. So looking at the lap times, when they're running this close, it's kind of hard to tell who's really quicker. You just kind of visually got to see who's gaining ground. The last lap, this is where Avancino made his last pass. Let's see what he does here. Does he set Tazio going up across start-finish line? No, he thought about it. Not enough room. Our race director, there he goes. Avancino to the inside. He's trying. Oh, Woods gets back around him. So Avancino was going for a pass, and then Woods gets back around. So Woods is now running in 3rd. You saw there for a moment Brian Keck. Second place there is going to be Tazio Otis. 3rd, Kevin Woods. Here comes Avancino. They're drag racing up the hill. Does Woods cross him over? Woods crosses him over. They drag race into turn 1. That was pretty close. That was the advantage going in for Woods, but Avancino just took him in deep and took that spot back. Avancino knows he's wasting valuable track time right now. He's working those tires pretty hard with Kevin Woods and Tazio Otis. Meanwhile, Brian Keck is just stretching out his lead. Let's see if Avancino has a run going into tic-tac-toe. Nothing entering tic-tac-toe. Now keep an eye on Woods because he made a pass earlier. Here comes Avancino. Not enough room. He goes to the inside of turn 1. There you go. Okay, now that he's in the clear. Now there goes Kevin Woods trying to go for that number 3 spot. This track is one of the more difficult layouts to really track what's going on because there's so many switchbacks. But Avancino, he is pulling away from Tazio Otis. So this next time by, we'll be able to see Brian Keck's time versus versus Michael Avancino's time. 3 seconds. The number is 3 seconds between Brian Keck and Michael Avancino. Once again, our Pro Shifter class is brought to you by Altwell, Alternative Wellness Products. We appreciate the support from all of our sponsors. It allows the series to add added features. A couple years ago, we added the live stream, and over the past couple of years, we've just been working on different parts of it to make it better each time. So right now we are watching. Oh, there goes Kevin Woods. He's looking. Is there a contact there? I actually would be very surprised if there was contact because Kevin's known as one of probably the cleaner drivers out of all classes on the track. He is trying hard, though. I don't think there was contact. He's really trying to get around Tazio. But he's not using Tazio as a bumper. And then going back to our leader, we have Brian Keck way out in front off camera. Second place, Michael Avancino. He's 2.2 seconds behind Keck. So he's going to have 6 laps to go, 2.2 seconds behind. So he's dropped 0.8 of a second off that lead. There goes Kevin Woods. These two are racing each other hard. Kevin wants that position. He's being aggressive. Tazio's giving him just enough room so there's not contact. Those two drivers are doing a great job. So it looks like Kevin Woods is able to stretch it out a little bit. So back to our race leader, Brian Keck, off camera. Michael Avancino running in second, now 1.9 seconds behind. 5 laps to go, and he's 1.9 seconds behind Brian Keck. Keck is a very experienced racer. He's also really, really good at track management. So he's really good at the track management. So there's no doubt in my mind that Brian Keck knows how far back Avancino is. So the time difference between Avancino in second place and Brian Keck in first, 1.79 seconds. 1.79 seconds with 4 laps to go. So even if Avancino catches Brian Keck, then you got to get around him. But we still have 4 laps to go to see how this is going to play out. Elsewhere on the track, all the other karts have some running room between each of them. So it really is going to be a possible showdown between Avancino and Brian Keck. 3 laps to go. Michael Avancino, now he's fast lap, 49.971. He just knocked another 0.2 off that lead. So now that gap is 1.5 seconds. So 1.5 seconds. So here is your race leader. Kart number 481, Brian Keck on the GFC product. Second place, we have Michael Avancino on the Madcrock product. 2 laps to go for Brian Keck, 2 laps to go. Where's Avancino? There he is. 1.2 seconds for Avancino. He's going to have to find a second on this next lap. He's going to need to find a second in order to get close enough and challenge for that lead. As you can see, Avancino's creeping into the screen here. There he is. Here comes Keck through tic-tac-toe. 2 laps to go. There's going to be one more corner. They'll have 1 lap to go. Avancino is less than a second behind Brian Keck right now. Catching him's one thing. So here comes Brian Keck for the last time entering tic-tac-toe. The last time coming up the hill. Avancino's close, but not close enough. Here comes Brian Keck, last corner. Brian Keck with the race win. Fantastic run by Michael Avancino to finish second. Avancino is not going to be happy with that one. Even though he had a great run from 5th, he's not going to be happy with his start. Kevin Woods, great job. 3rd place, 4th place, Tazio Otis. And rounding out your top 5 in Pro Shifter, brought to you by Altwell, Alternative Wellness Products, Colin McGrath. Thank you for joining us on the YouTube ROK Sonoma channel. Queuing up next is our Junior VLR. Brought to you by Offset. Your pole sitter, Alex Rentola. Off pole, Max Altsman. Sorry, we had the camera right on Max Altsman, but he was off pole. So our Junior VLR drivers are hitting the track. They age anywhere from 11 to 15 years old. So we have Alex Rentala, Max Altman, Yana Kapoor, Christian Cameron, Hudson Sharp, Brazen Hawkins, Zoquan Holbrook, Eric Doan, Dylan Turner, and Jimmy Fan rounding out your top 10. And we may or may not have a surprise for you during this particular race. So each race weekend, we're always trying to make the live stream a little bit better. So once again, this is our junior VLR class. They're gridding up for their main event. 15 laps, reverse sprint track here at ROK Sonoma. And this class is brought to you by Offset. We're rolling down the main straight. After the start, they'll cone it off, and they'll turn left there on the next lap after we get a green flag. Phil Hand throws a green flag. We have a green flag going into turn 1. Little bit of contact. Number of drivers are off the track. So we lost a number of drivers. We'll see who those are. One of those carts may have been Christian Cameron. So right now we're on board with Christian Cameron. He got shuffled way back. He was running in 4th, now he's in 12th. So we're going to keep an eye on him right here. So we had some big shuffling going around on that opening couple of corners. So we're going to reset the grid here as they come across. Your race leader, Zoquan Holbrook, Yana Kapoor, Max Altman, Hudson Sharp, Dylan Turner, Henry Fogarty, Brendan Tran. So Zoquan Holbrook is your current race leader. Looks like Max Altman was able to get around Yana Kapoor on that last time by. He's also your purple lap cart right now. So Max Altman is purple. So back on board with Christian Cameron. So Christian's up to that 9th spot. So Zoquan's about to get some pressure from teammate Max Altman. Both of these drivers are on OTK products. 3rd place is OTK. That's going to be Yana Kapoor. Hudson Sharp is on the GFC chassis. And then running in 5th, we'll have another GFC with Dylan Turner. So Altman gets around Zoquan for the lead. So Altman, he's now your new leader. Zoquan Holbrook is in 2nd. Yana Kapoor is running in 3rd. Looks like Hudson Sharp is setting up for that 3rd place spot. Keep an eye on Hudson Sharp. So here come our drivers to tic-tac-toe. Race leader Max Altman brings him up the hill into reverse turn 1. So we're keeping an eye right there on Hudson Sharp. He's applying a lot of pressure to third place, Yana Kapoor. Max Altman is still purple with 52.963. So once again, this is Junior VLR. This is our main event. We have 11 laps to go out of 15. This class is brought to you by Offset. Back on board with Christian Cameron, as Christian's running in that 7th spot. So there's the outside view of Christian Cameron. Once again, this weekend we were messing with onboard cameras. So you have Max Altman right there at the left side of your screen. Right in the center we have Zoquan Holbrook, followed by Yana Kapoor and Hudson Sharp. Oh, and right behind this, Drew, oh, there goes Hudson Sharp to the inside. Hudson Sharp has the pass. So there's the outside view of our driver with the onboard camera. There's Christian Cameron. So we're working with the onboard cameras this weekend. And then back to second place here, that's Zoquan Holbrook. Here comes your race leader, Max Altman, right up the hill. Hudson Sharp is now in that 3rd place spot. Oh, he blows coming onto that little short chute. So Christian's working his way back up to 6th spot. 5th spot is Alex Rentala. 4th is Yana Kapoor. 3rd is Hudson Sharp. 2nd is Zoquan Holbrook. And 1st is Max Altman. Senior VLR, you're up next. You should be on the grid. Next time by, these drivers will have 7 laps to go in our junior VLR class. Once again, if there's some special features you'd like to see in the live stream, talk to our video guy, Jason. It might be helpful to have a check sitting in your hand. But there's our 2nd place, Zoquan Holbrook. There's Hudson Sharp in 3rd. Yana Kapoor is running in 4th. Alex Rentala is in 5th. So it looks like Zoquan Holbrook is 2.3 seconds behind race leader Max Altman. But the racing action is really right here for that 3rd spot between Hudson Sharp and Yana Kapoor. And it looks like Alex Rentala is going to start entering the mix here in a couple of corners. There's Hudson Sharp, Yana Kapoor, and then you'll see, there we go, blue helmet of Alex Rentala. So the difference between Max Altman and Zoquan Holbrook is 2.6 seconds. There's Max Altman right there coming up the hill. Sometimes it's a little difficult to keep the cameras on the race leader when they check out, as we're trying to keep the cameras on the racing action. There we go. There's Max Altman. Here's your 15 seconds of fame, Max. Great job so far. Four and a half laps to go for these drivers. So here is the pack, second, third, fourth, right here between Zoquan Holbrook, Sharp, Kapoor, and Ratala. And then a little bit further back, we have Cameron. I'm speculating at this point if Cameron has some damage on the cart. We won't know until they come across the scales. But Cameron is sitting in that sixth place spot. Once again, this is our junior VLR class, and this is the battle for second place. Zoquan Holbrook is currently sitting in that spot. Next time by, they will have 3 laps to go. Cutting back to your race leader, Max Altman. So Hudson Sharp is applying pressure from that third place spot, trying to take over the second place spot. But right behind him is Yana Kapoor. Let's see if Hudson makes a move here. There's your race leader, Max Altman. Here the drivers come down to tic-tac-toe. They'll head up the hill 2 more times after this. Zoquan in second place right there. There's going to be 2 laps to go for Junior VLR, brought to you by Offset. So cameras are on that battle for second place between Holbrook, Sharp, Kapoor, and Rentala. Let's see if Cameron's a little bit too far back right now. The drivers are going through tic-tac-toe. Does Hudson have a good run coming up the hill? Not enough room there to make anything happen. Does Hudson look to the inside? There he goes. Hudson looks for the inside. He has the pass. Let's see if he's able to maintain it. It looks like he kept his momentum up. So Hudson Sharp is now in that second spot. Let's see what happened with Zoquan, and Yana Kapoor goes to the inside. She was not able to hang on to that spot, but she made the attempt. Now they're going to head down the hill, going into tic-tac-toe. Hudson Sharp is in second. Zoquan Holbrook is in third. Yana Kapoor is in fourth. Alex Rentala looks to go to the inside on Yana Kapoor. They both went really narrow. That kind of hurt their momentum for both of them. But Zoquan blew that corner crossing the start-finish line. That allowed Yana Kapoor and Alex Rentala to get around. So Zoquan's going to drop back into 5th. Here comes Rentala. He's the one with the blue helmet. Right there, that was Max Altman. That's Max Altman. This is your race leader. But the past couple of laps, the racing action has intensified for that 2nd and 3rd place spot. Sorry for the holdup there. That was an abrupt end to the junior VLR class. I had a little bit of a glitch. So I was calling the last lap action of after the checkered flag, which was unfortunate because I never saw the checkered flag. Next up will be the Senior VLR, brought to you by OPI Builders. Sorry about that. I fucked that up. I didn't even see it on the video, though, the flag.
I didn't either. I mean, that's why I called it wrong to my guys.
And then they were racing hard all the way to the exit.
Jason, you want to play this because I think the actual transmitter died. The transmitter on the start. Your transmitter's good. Your transmitter's good. I think the transmitter that was on the start died. We got some good shots out of it, though. We got some very good shots out of it.
So we're coming back here. This is our senior VLR class. Senior VLR is on track. Looks like all of our drivers made it through the first couple of corners. We have 3 karts battling for the lead. Little bit of contact there. Keep an eye on Garbarino. He lost a lot of momentum on a little bit of contact exiting Laguna. So Salaveria looks like he's your current leader, followed by Ryan Person. Third is going to be Steven Eisert. Fourth is going to be Chase Hand. And it looks like Val Garbarino dropped down to 5th, so we'll keep an eye on Val. So as you can see, the 100cc senior class, a tight field. Currently, your quick kart on the track is Steven Eisert. Salaveria is your current race leader, followed by Ryan Persing. Then we have Steven Eisert and Chase Hand. So Salaveria brings the drivers up the hill into reverse turn 1. Top 5 remain in the same order. Once again, this is Senior VLR brought to you by OPI Builders. Our drivers will compete for 15 laps. There goes Chase Hand on the inside. So Hand had the pass momentarily over Steven Eisert. Does it stick? Looks like it's going to for now. So we'll keep an eye on Eisert and Hand to see if they're going to work together or if the gloves are off. There's your race leader, Salaveria, followed by Ryan Persing. Third place, Chase Hand. Fourth place, Steven Eisert. Fifth, Garbarino. But the battle looks pretty tight for that third spot and that 5th spot with Val Garbarino and Anthony White. So off screen, we're going to keep an eye on those 2 spots. There's your current race leader, number 983. Looks like we have a driver off track. That may have been kart number 919. I'll double check here in a second. Yeah, no. No, Garbarino is still on track. We'll try to get a kart number here in a moment. There's your race leader, followed by Ryan Persing. Chase Hand is in second, or third. Steven Eisert is in 4th. So Salaveria has led from the opening lap. So here come the drivers for tic-tac-toe coming up the hill. So Dustin Salaveria looks pretty comfortable in that number 1 spot. We're moving our cameras around trying to find some more racing action here on the track. But once again, this is ROK Sonoma, reverse national race number, reverse sprint, race number 6. It is also our final round of the Triple Crown Summer event, where earlier today we had some great Briggs and Stratton racing. So it looks like Chase Hand is pulling away from Isert. So Chase Hand is going to be pretty comfortable in that 3rd spot right now. It looks like further back in the field, looks like we have Anthony White. His hands are full with Colby Romero. So we have 9 laps to go in our senior VLR class, brought to you by OPI Builders. After the opening lap, Dustin Salaveria really hasn't had much pressure. Persing sitting in 2nd. He also hasn't had a lot of pressure. But 3rd through 7th, there were battles back and forth, contentions for position. So rounding out our top 10, Salaveria, Persing, Hand, Isert, Garbarino, Anthony White, Colby Romero, Austin Elliott, Ayrton Tyler, and Jack Harmuth. Dustin Salaveria has that Sodi cart on rails right now. This next time by, we'll see what the lap difference is between Salaveria and Brian Persing. Currently, it's 7/10 of a second. Now we have the camera on Anthony White and Colby Romero going for that 6th spot. And Isert has his hands full with Val Garbarino for that number 4 spot. Seven laps to go. And the difference between 1st and 2nd is about the same as last lap. So you got the camera on Isert coming out of tic-tac-toe. He's being stalked by Val Garbarino. Both of these drivers are on OTK products. Coming up the hill, going through the corner. There's your start-finish line right there. Further back, I can't tell. It looks like Colby Romero got around Anthony White. Yep, Colby Romero's gotten around Anthony White. So let's see if Colby's able to pick off a couple of drivers here. 6 laps to go in our senior VLR class, brought to you by OPI Builders. Yeah, it looks like Colby Romero is on a roll right now. Oh, there goes Garbarino to the inside. So Garbarino's going to have that inside line. So Garbarino's in 4th. Oh, Romero gets around Isert. I was almost going to make the call that Isert was going to come back, but Romero put his nose in there. But 2 turns later, it doesn't matter. Isert was able to retain that spot. But here comes Colby Romero. So drivers are going into tic-tac-toe. Anthony White is on the backside of that pack. So what a battle going on right now for that 5th place spot with Steven Eisert hanging on. Let's see what Colby Romero has left in store here. They're going to have 3 laps to go when they cross the start-finish line again. So your race leader is quite a bit out in front. And Eisert gets around Romero again. So Romero and Eisert are just swapping positions. 3 laps to go for this senior VLR class, brought to you by OPI Builders. So exiting the screen there, that's Val Garbarino. That's 4th place. Steven Eisert's in 5th. Colby Romero's in 6th. Anthony White is in 7th. Garbarino, cart number 919. Steven Eisert, 939. Colby Romero, 936. Anthony White, little bit further back now. So now we have a 3-cart race for that 4th spot. Two laps to go for these drivers. They start looking over their shoulders, looking to see how much space they have. So look for a move here from Colby Romero. Drivers are exiting tic-tac-toe, coming up the hill. They will go through that corner one more time this weekend. This is our last race here on Race Sunday. Race weekend number 6. We are on the final lap. Your current race leaders, Dustin Salaveria. 2nd place is Ryan Persing. 3rd place is Chase Hand. But right now we are focused on the battle for 4th between Val Garbarino, Steven Eisert, and Colby Romero. Let's see which one of those drivers pulls the trigger. So here come the drivers for the final time down the hill in a tic-tac-toe. There's Chase Hand on screen. Colby Romero, does he look to the inside coming up the hill? Colby to the inside, did he get it? It didn't look like Colby was able to get that last second pass. He just ran out of track time and real estate. But your race winner, Dustin Salaveria, Ryan Persing finished in 2nd, Chase Hand in 3rd, Val Garbarino in 4th, Steven Eisert in 5th. That was the senior VLR class brought to you by OPI Builders. That was our final race of the day. Thank you if you're on YouTube for joining us for this broadcast. ROK Sonoma typically does one live stream a month. Our next live feed is going to be the weekend of Rockfest here at ROK Sonoma. It's a combination race with ROK Sonoma Race 7 and Rockfest. That will be our next event. So each race we try to add something different or new to the live stream to make it a little bit better. So you may have caught a glimpse of it in the junior VLR class, we were messing around with onboard cameras. So we'll have some bugs to work out of that, but at least we tried. The practice actually went really good. So thank you to Christian Cameron for letting us experiment with your carts. But we'll have some more cameras and some more footage coming up. And thank you again. We're going to take a final shot here of the senior VLR, and we will leave you with this shot here, last race of the day, as we sign off. Thank you for joining. If you like what we're doing, please hit like and subscribe so we can